The Longsjo bike race came to an exciting finish as the men and women's pro racers took to the downtown streets this past Sunday. Glenn Fossa talks to the experts about summer pool safety. And our city reporter Michael Hartwell investigates residential fire sprinkler systems. I'm Stephanie Allison. All this and lots more coming up next on Our City News.
And now, the latest news, sports, and weather with Stephanie Allison and the entire Our City News team.
The 56th annual Longsjo Classic Bike Race rolls into town last Sunday. Racers from all over the country competed for top spots in the second oldest bicycle race in the U.S. For the women's pro, Colleen Gulick took first. Regina Leahy finished second, with Emma Bast closing out the field in third. The men's pro winners were Joshua Anderson came in first, second was Alec Hoover, and J.C. Brookshire coming in third. It was an exciting day of races, and even the kids got a chance to ride in this historical race. Right here in Fitchburg, the entire FATV team was on site to capture all of the action. It's great to see this race back up and running right here in Fitchburg. You can catch all the races in their entirety right here on FATV next week. Glenn and I got a chance to check out the races in Leominster on Saturday.
So, Stephanie, it has been a great day over here in Leominster. Earlier today was a little bit threatening. I mean, there was some rain, a little bit drizzle this morning, but this has turned out great, a little bit of a breeze. It's just been an incredible day, and tomorrow is the big one.
I can't wait for tomorrow. I mean, every year it gets better and better, and there's more people that come out to actually watch the races, which is a lot of fun if you want to come out and watch them. There's always time to come out and watch.
And the big thing is, of course, it's not always about the broadcast of the stream, but the Tron lets you have the same experience you have at Gillette Stadium, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Daytona, Mile High Stadium.
Fitchburg brings it home every year. I mean, we up our game constantly, and the Tron is always great to watch, and because you have the great bleachers sitting right in front of it, so you can be kind of in the shade and watch the race happen.
And there's plenty of time. Folks can still join us because this is going to actually air very early in the day.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a great event to come for. If it hasn't been before the kids race, the kids have a blast. There's actually going on right now behind us in Leominster. I mean, it's a family event. Bring everybody down.
Now, a lot of folks think we work for FATV and don't really, we've been volunteering for many, many years, and we put these shows on, we make shows, and they can make their own shows.
Absolutely. Volunteering at FATV has been one of the highlights of my whole job here, I guess. You call it a job. It's fun.
And so that they have an interest. It might be cooking, it could be sports, it could be animals. They could make their own show, and it would be just as great as anything they've ever seen.
FATV is always looking to grow their family. That's absolutely true.
Fitchburg Access Television Sports, of course, continues with the 2017 Longsjo Classic tomorrow in Fitchburg starting at 6 a.m. You're going to see us, FATV.org, streaming Comcast Channel 9 and Verizon 36. Join us and the entire FATV team for more of the 2017 Longsjo Classic.
Summertime brings on the hot weather, and with it comes time by the pool. Whether you're at home or visiting friends, it's always good to be alert while the kids are splashing around and cooling off. Glenn Fossa talked with our experts about pool safety. Here's the story.
And of course, the first day of summer was just a few days ago. Scott Rivers with me from Lunenburg Street at Surfside Pool. Scott, this is a great example of a great pool. And, of course, we talk about pool safety, we talk about the summer, and, of course, how we treat our pools. So there's both chlorine, there's salt-based. Tell us a little bit about what you see in the trend.
Actually, 95% of our new pools today, I'd say, are going to the salt system. It's much easier to take care of. It's kind of automated, and people don't have to go and add their chlorine daily. Yeah. It's all taken care of.
So, of course, there are two sort of the most popular ways to treat a pool, and that is salt-based and chlorine. And you can tell us a little bit about how they work.
Well, the chlorine, of course, you're generally adding daily. Unless you're using a tablet, then you can actually add every few days. Whereas the salt system is produced from a salt cell. It makes chlorine. so you're actually not adding it like you are chlorine. It is chlorine, though. I want people not to have the misconception that it isn't. Salt actually, the system makes chlorine so that it's less maintenance is what it amounts to.
Very good. And, of course, you've been in business a long, long time. Of course, it's a family legacy. We all knew your dad, Phil, of course. And moving ahead, what do you think in terms of best practices for summer pool safety?
Well, summer pool safety, you got to always take into consideration. Everybody's out there to have fun, but you got to be careful drinking around a pool. Diving is always an issue, and you got to have the proper equipment, being the correct fencing and so forth, and especially safety latches on gates.
Excellent. And when we're around the pool, of course, we had just talked about supervision around the pool for young people, and our real young toddlers and things present special safety considerations. And tell us just a little bit about that.
They do. They have special things for toddlers. One would be pool alarms. I always recommend you have to watch your kids, whether they're toddlers or up to teens. They can slip in very quickly without you even having an eye on them. Another thing that you can acquire is what they call a baby safety fence that actually gets mounted in the deck, and they can't get by that. That's always a good idea.
Yeah. Great tips, Scott, right here from Surfside Pool on Lunenburg Street in our city, the city of Fitchburg. Fitchburg City, Our City News continues. Stay with us.
You're watching Our City News on FATV.
So as the Fitchburg Access Television Our City News gets ready for the day, of course, having a little breakfast here, 144 Lunenburg Street, the Cozy Corner. With me, Mike Dupe. Mike, great to see you today.
Good to see you,
outstanding crowd in the diner today. Tell us more about this season.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
It's about time we get nice hot weather.
Yeah.
Been looking forward to it all winter long. People are coming out now, which makes it a blessing.
Yeah. And of course, the diner's full today, and you've got to get back to your stuff. Very involved in the community. You love Fitchburg. Of course, you got Tiny's trees, all part of the game.
Yeah, Tiny's trees, that's winter time, so we try to cover, all seasons.
Yeah. And ladies, is he a great boss?
Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
He gives the best hugs.
Gives the best hugs. Civic Days 2017.
Thanks, Glenn. Great advice to keep everybody safe as we beat the heat this summer. Our city junior reporter, Samantha Morton, stopped by the fire department's safe trailer and got some tips on home fire safety. Here's her report.
Thanks, Stephanie. I'm here at the Fitchburg Airport inside the safe trailer with Lieutenant Phil Jordan. Phil, can you tell us a little bit about this trailer?
Sure. I'm from the Fitchburg Fire Department, and this trailer here, which is housed in Fitchburg, is like a district safe trailer. So the safe trailer is a trailer. It would be wonderful to explain that if we could get in everybody's homes to teach fire safety, it would be the perfect world. Unfortunately, we all know shorthanded that can't happen. So the fire departments coordinate. They borrow this safe trailer. They bring it to the schools, and it has the bedrooms, the kitchens, the living room setups like you would as your ordinary house, and we practice different drills in here with make-believe fire, make-believe smoke. We can even do a make-believe hurricane storm in here with lightning, which is pretty impressive. And all the safety lessons that they're taught here, we're hoping they're bringing home to the dinner table and teaching in their own homes. So that is how this program works.
So how long have you been doing this for?
Oh, I've lost count, to be honest with you. Close to 20 years, so it's been a while. So it's been very rewarding. When we do the SAFE program locally, we take an entire week going through the schools, and we get about 650 kids in 1 week through the school system, and that varies by city or town in size. But we also, at these events, I heard they did fantastic, like 450 people. And not all 450 went through here, but let's say we had 200 through here. All it takes is one life to save, and that's our goal.
So what's your motivation for this trailer?
Motivation is like anything. I'm in charge of fire prevention in Fitchburg Fire Department, and anytime we can get out in the public in a positive event like this, working with the city of Fitchburg, working with the associations like the Airport Association of Fitchburg, and working together and involving a message of fire safety, fire prevention, that's our motivation. It's just working together to do what we can for everybody.
So Phil, show us some of the things that are important about fire safety in this house.
Sure. This house, like every house, has its unique, individual exits. So the first thing we always do in any house, as you do at any restaurant or any movie theater, is we give a description of every way out. There should be 2 ways out. Then we talk about the multiple hazards in the house. I'll slowly pan over here. And we go from the phone to 911, the difference of cell phone 911 versus hardwired phone 911, which will ring into the police station through a computer and actually give an address. We talk about candle safety. We move right over. We talk about toaster oven safety and not using metal objects to pull stuck bread out. Talk about the danger of heating irons. We talk about the danger of cords hanging down from irons where young kids can come pull a cord and have a disastrous effect with something falling down on them. We talk about, panning over here, we talk about microwave safety. We have special effects to make sparks come out the top here, and we talk about the dangers of microwave metal in the microwave and using the wrong types of plates that are actually tagged not to be used for microwave. In my family, in my world, they don't belong in a home. We come over to the stove, and then we actually have some special effects where we can do some distractions and get distracted while cooking. And we can add some smoke in here, and we even have the ability to add some flames in here. So when we talk about what the lessons learned after we make a mistake here, you notice there's a flame there. We put it out. We talk about the importance of checking your oven before turning the oven on. And we also talk about the dangers of people storing in their oven. So when they turn something on, they really need to make sure, that it's a safe environment to do that. Pot handles turned in so nobody trips over them. And then we actually have the ability, using SpongeBob, which is a kid-friendly video, he leads us into a situation where he burns his pineapple down with a candle that he left burning when he left the home, which is a good preemptive thing to a red-lined public service message, and then a news report of a hurricane coming in. At that point, I have a whole bunch of controls over here that I can flash the windows, I can shake the blinds, I can shut off all the lights in a power outage, which is typical of a hurricane situation. Nobody knows what to do, but here in the SAFE trailer, we have backup lighting, flashlight lighting in the plugs. We have a 9-volt radio, so we actually listen to a live broadcast on the radio while all the power and everything's out around us. So hopefully they'll take these messages through here, and they'll be better prepared at home. And the last event we have is we simulate a smoke in this back bedroom. We also put some smoke here, which climbs across to the smoke detector. Full discussion into the importance of fall and crawl, why we need to stay below the smoke. And we go outside to meet at our mailbox, which is our meeting place. The key thing we try to feature in on this, and we've had some issues, anytime somebody goes back into a burning building, 9 times out of 10, they come out more hurt than they did going in. We key in the kids, don't save your pets, don't save your toys, don't save your family. Get out, stay safe. As the professionals come in, pick your meeting places in the front of your homes so that when the professionals come in, you can say, hey, Mom, Dad, my favorite pet's still up there, and let the firefighters do what they're trained to do. The last thing we want to see is anybody who was out and then they go back in for something they think they can do, and in fact, then they just hurt themselves, and it's tragic.
Great advice from the Fitchburg Fire Department. Remember to check your batteries and your smoke detectors. I'm Samantha Morin for Our City News.
Our City reporter Michael Hartwell has been looking into a new trend in home fire protection systems. Michael?
Can you put a price on an individual life? Well, when federal agencies have to do that, typically that price is $9.1 million. That's how much they're willing to spend to prevent a death. With that in mind, we talked to a member of the Fitchburg Fire Department about residential sprinkler systems and how effective they are at preventing death at a high cost.
Yeah, we're here at our father's house, and they've recently put in a sprinkler system which increases their occupancy quite greatly. The sprinkler system here actually acts as a first attempt of self-extinguishment to keep a fire small before the firefighters arrive, and also to give the occupants extra time to evacuate a building in a safe manner. This here that you're looking at is a fire department connection. This fire department connection, as well as the strobe you see above, that's an indicator to the firefighters arriving the house. They get a visual indication of where the problem is, and this is where they can actually tie in and add water from the pumper trucks that you see coming up the street.
Which homes in Fitchburg are required to have fire sprinkler systems?
Okay, it's a common effort working with the building department, but there are a few different things. Homes that are brand new and that have 3 families or more are required to have sprinkler systems by the current building code. Also, any house that is renovated to a great deal, altered to a great deal, decided by the building department, may strike a code change for a renovation given the size of the building being a 3-family or a building that's more than 7,500 square feet in size, some of your mansions or larger houses. Also, sometimes an occupancy change. You may have a home and they change into a business, and the business may have some interesting factors that require a higher level of protection. They may have a cooking place, for instance, may have a deep fryer in the hood, which requires a higher grade of protection. And we deal with those on a case-by-case basis.
Why isn't there a requirement for single-family dwellings to have a home fire sprinkler system?
That's a great question, one for the building department as well. 1- and 2-family sprinkler systems are written in code, international building code. However, Massachusetts has a right to adopt certain codes and change certain codes or delete certain codes. And in Massachusetts right now, we're working towards that goal. Our fire department would love to see every house sprinkler protection, fire protection, but it's cost inhibitive right now. But the costs are, as you'll see inside with the future photos, plastic pipe, smaller design, more readily available. The cost is coming down, but right now the state is just concentrating on 3-family and above.
Okay, I've talked to some firefighters who think residential home fire sprinkler systems are going to be the next big thing, the next big innovation to help. Do you see this as becoming a requirement for all homes in the future?
It very well could be. Like anything, any type of system in place, your smoke detection, number one, and your sprinkler protection, it's like a firefighter in your home 24 hours, 7 days a week. It's just an added protection for your property. You might actually see the insurance industry, once the cost comes down, welcome it, because they're protecting property and you're paying a premium for that. They might welcome it or make it into state code.
How effective are these systems?
I find them very effective. I do about 25 investigations a year on average, plus some years. Any fire I've ever found in a sprinkler building has always been extinguished, sometimes even before the fire department gets there, or at least maintained to a minimum level where the people had the time to get out, but the fire department also had the ability to get in before the fire got out of control. A fire will double in size every minute. If you've seen some of the old buildings with the wood construction, it takes no time for the destructive purposes of fire, and sprinkler systems in these buildings would absolutely help.
Is there a lot of maintenance required for a home residential fire sprinkler system?
The general highest cost is that one time of installation and tying into the city supply for water. But generally, as far as my knowledge, once you have a sprinkler system tied into the city, it's a right to service fee. I'm not going to quote a price, but it's a one fee type thing. So if you have a sprinkler goes off and it dumps 5,000 gallons of water, you don't pay for the actual water for extinguishing the fire. You're paying a service fee one time a year for the use of that water. So you don't build up a sewer charge or a water charge. They don't charge you by the gallon for sprinklers. After that, it's just general maintenance. You know, once a year, have somebody come and look at it and certify that everything's tight with no leaks. It's pretty good system.
Do you see people install these systems in their homes when they don't have to?
Generally, I've been here 3 years, and it's not a general trend to come up and spend money on something for fire protection. It's super to have, but some people would rather a new car or a pool or something like that. But I am aware of one house that did do it, and they wanted the sprinkler protection for their building. For what reason, I don't know. It could have been a past history, a past incident, or somebody just says, look, I want to do it right for the protection of my family. So that makes a difference. If it's a family-occupied building, people tend to care for that a little bit more because it's protection of their own life.
Phil, any final thoughts?
Yeah, any final thoughts? With home sprinkler systems, they save lives and they're there to protect you all the time. They can be cost prohibitive, though. So for people who can't afford home sprinkler systems or aren't required to have them, we'd just like to remind everybody that the importance of the smoke detector. It's a small dollar device, and it saves lives every day. We have far too many deaths in the city of Fitchburg over the past few years, and we're trying to reduce that rate. Please, just check your smoke detectors and make sure they're up to date.
At Our Father's House in Fitchburg, this is Michael Hartwell with Our City News.
The annual Police 5K road race hit the streets of downtown. We got a chance to talk to the organizer about this year's event.
Great pause. Runners, prepare. On your mark. Get set. Go! So Civic Days of 2017, the Brewfest, and of course the famed Police 5K. Sergeant Mark Jackson, certainly an organizer of this event that's been ongoing. Mark, great to see you today. Tell us about this year's event.
Well, this year's event, as usual, we have our 5K walk, our 5K run. We have our different venue this time, Beamer's Pub. It's been very gracious with us this year. We have probably about 100, 160, 70 runners this year. And good weather so far. It's going to be a pretty good event.
We'll be right back with more from Our City News on FATV.
travel to the Oak Hill Country Club, where the installation of new officers for the Fitchburg Rotary Club took place. Outgoing President Dan Cunningham, of course, handing the reins over to Denise Wortman. Here's what she had to say.
So this year is truly going to be a great one, and I look forward to leading the club. We have a great club here. Thank you all very much.
Of course, Dan Cunningham, no stranger to service clubs, and Denise Wortman, a well-known name in this area, as not only a businesswoman but heavily involved in Habitat for Humanity projects. Rotary International, everywhere, of course, as a service club. Right here in Fitchburg, you can join too. Stephanie?
Our city sports reporter, Alex Bogdasarian, has the latest in sports. Alex?
Thanks, Stephanie. I'm Alex Bogdasarian with our city sports headlines. The Celtics drafted Duke's Jason Tatum with the number 3 overall pick last Thursday in the NBA draft. Markelle Fultz went number 1 to the 76ers, and number 2 was Lonzo Ball going to the Los Angeles Lakers. Jimmy Butler also got traded that night to the Minnesota Timberwolves, and the Celtics are rumored to be in pursuit of Pacers guard Paul George. The Patriots signed linebacker David Harris from the New York Jets. He is an 11-year veteran linebacker. Patriots training camp opens on July 27th. The Confederation semifinals are set this week. Chile will play Portugal, and Mexico will play Germany. The final for the Confederations Cup is after the 4th of July. Jordan Spieth holds out in dramatic fashion to win the Travelers' Championship Sunday to capture that championship. So coming up later on in July will be the British Open. That is later in July. That is the next major. So that'll do it for me, Alex Bogdasarian. Now back to you, Stephanie.
Thanks, Alex. This week on FATV. Tuesday morning at 9:30, you can watch the Civic Days Parade live on Comcast Channel 8 and Verizon 35. You can also stream the annual parade in HD at fatv.org. Wednesday at 7 p.m., it's Discussing Fitchburg Now with your guests from Fitchburg Youth Football. Thursday at 7:30, the Stratton players are live in the studio, and the City Council meeting is live on Thursday at 7 p.m. on our government channel. Our City News sat down with Representative Stephen Hay at the State House recently about life in Fitchburg and working for the people of our area. Let's take a look.
Being a young man and going to the 4th of July parade and the Longsjo race, and now being a full-grown adult and still going to the Longsjo race and the Civics Day parade and all of those things, and the continuity of events in Fitchburg is wonderful. And seeing the same people and welcoming new people, seeing our community grow. I've stayed in Fitchburg all these years because it's my hometown. My family is there. I'm a very fortunate person in that getting to be my age in life, and I have a half dozen friends that I've known since 1st and 2nd grade. That's unique and a real treasure. Fitchburg is a great community. I tell people it's got wonderful assets. You've got the Art Museum, you've got FATV, you've got the park systems that we have, you have a university, you have a federal office building. All those things are wonderful and nice, and they're amenities to the town. But for me, the number one amenity is the people who live in Fitchburg. Good, decent, hard-working people, give you the shirt off their back. Every time you ask for volunteers, here comes a whole pack of folks willing to help you out and try to do what's right. I was raised by parents who instilled in us that, you have a civic responsibility to give back to your community. I watched both my parents do it, and I've been doing it for years. When I first got elected to the city council and somebody called me a politician, I said, not really. I said, this is just another form of public service. No different than being president of the Little League or Babe Ruth or on the board at H.H. Gagnon or Notre Dame High School or whatever other things that I was involved in. It's all public service to help the community.
Join the entire Our City News team and the FATV crew on July 3rd at the block party and July 4th for the annual parade. We look forward to seeing you there. From all of us here at Our City News and FATV, have a great and happy 4th.